Thank you for your testimony. And we'll now move in the question and answer portion of the hearing. I'll begin questioning, recognize myself for 5 minutes. Let me begin my questions on a high level. One of the themes of our nuclear policy work reflected in the bipartisan letter we wrote in April is to restore agency alignment with the policy goals of the Atomic Energy Act. These policies, I think, it is fair to argue, helped the United States for several decades lead the world in nuclear technology, spread the peaceful benefits of nuclear power. We want to recapture the focus of these policies going forward. Mr. Goff, you spent 30 years at Argonne and Idaho National Labs, two of the nation's key nuclear technology labs. From your experience and in your current position at DOE, do you see the value of reasserting the principles of the Atomic Energy Act to promote and deploy American nuclear technologies, especially given competition with Russia and China?
Yes, I mean, I view that we operate under the Department of Energy, under the Atomic Energy Act. That provides most of our authorities, and we view those things as very critical. We do need to be, the leaders, reestablish the U.S. leadership in nuclear technology, both domestically and for export. We need to make sure that we, the United States, are setting the standards for safety and security and non-proliferation around the world. And the way we do that is through the international engagement and be able to export of our technologies. So I do view us reestablishing that leadership, through the directions of the Atomic Energy Act is critical for us moving forward. We have to be the leaders in this space.
Just as a sidebar question, do you think the Chinese operate with that same mentality for safety and security?
I think they operate under somewhat different standards. I think they have operated some of the reactors safe and all. But as far as the overall security and the process that they go about, no, I think we should be the ones that should be working with our partners and allies as opposed to Chinese companies coming in and doing that. And we've reflected that in some of our export relationships with the Chinese.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think we can be the leader we have been, we can be. Mr. Dorman, you began your career in the nuclear Navy before moving to the NRC. At the hearing with the commissioners last month, it was stated that when the Navy approves a nuclear submarine, it is a dual mission, which is safety, but also to enable the mission. It's not at all clear the NRC is performing its safety mission in service to the broader mission to enable nuclear energy. How are you as Executive Director of Operations working to ensure NRC staff have a view in all their activities of this broader mission?
Thank you, Chairman. Broadly, I think within the walls of the NRC, we talk about our mission as enabling safe and secure use of nuclear technology. So we are focused on reaching technically sound safety conclusions that support the applications that come before us. We also, over recent years, have focused on broader application of risk insight, in particular applying risk insight at the beginning of our review process to make sure that our activities are appropriately scoped and focused on the most risk significant activities as we develop the basis for our safety decision making.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Let me stay with you, Mr. Dorman. Last month I discussed with Chairman Hansen the issue of subsequent licensing renewals taking significantly longer and costing more, which he agreed was a problem. This does not reflect an agency learning, improving, and getting more efficient mindset. I understand inventory of the NRC's licensing actions has declined steadily over the last 20 years from 1,600 in 2003 to 800 today. And today, according to your data, only 80% of this smaller amount of actions is completed within the budget. Mr. Dorman, something isn't right here, either in budget or staffing priorities. What can you do to improve efficiency and put in place lasting measures so we can see performance improvements?
Thank you, Chair. We're focused on, again, at the beginning of our any application that's before us, defining a scope of the staff's review and a schedule for that review and managing to those plans. So I think that's gaining us some benefits in the focus and the level of effort in a number of reviews. The decrease in the number of reviews that you refer to also comes with a increase in the complexity of many of the reviews that the staff is looking at. So I would say many of the more mundane and administrative tasks that were undertaken 20 years ago have been resolved through standardization of tech specs across licenses and so forth. On the specific issue of the subsequent license renewal, coming back from the hearing last month, we have had conversations to focus on using risk insights, again, to look at the scope of the work that the staff is doing on subsequent license renewal applications. There are a number of attributes of aging of the plants that come into play in the 60 to 80 year period that we're not focused on because they had adequate margin already in the 40 to 60 year period. So there are some additional elements that we look at, but we're looking at where we can use risk insights to sharpen our focus and reduce the level of effort that we need to do to get to a sound safety decision.
Thank you for that. My time's up, and I'll now recognize the ranking member to get for 5 minutes.